I mentioned Cliff Kingsbury interviewed in Chicago for the Bears offensive coordinator job. That has gone to Shane Waldron.
Right.
He is the new OC of the Chicago Bears. Comes from Seattle, where he was the offensive coordinator. They've changed out coaching staffs there. They're looking for a new head coach. So Waldron becomes the OC in Chicago. And I assume that through the process, he was told, or at least has been told since he was hired, what the plan is for Justin Fields versus first pick in the draft. Do we take Caleb Williams? Do we end up taking Drake May instead? Do we take a quarterback? Do we trade that pick? Do we stick with Justin Fields? And whatever it is, Shane Waldron's going to be the one drawing it up because the head coach there is a defensive guy.
Yeah, a little like, I'm not going to lie, like a little surprised in the fact that it's really Shane Waldron in a lot of ways rooted in a similar offense to what Luke Getsy was, running in Chicago anyways. So I am a little surprised by that. I don't think it's all that different of an approach as far as the coaching style on the offensive side of the ball. And as you know, I kind of thought in a lot of ways Luke Getsy was doing a lot of good things, and I like that offense there, right? But Shane Waldron, okay, well, we know, Sean McVay, school of coaching, all that, has had some success the last few years, certainly, and has some creative ideas in the pass game and all that. Didn't have an O-line to work with in Seattle the last 2 years, and of course now he will in Chicago with running the football. But, man, I mean, that's the million-dollar question right now. It really is. And what are they going to do with this number one pick? I feel like with the coordinator change and now the hiring of Shane Waldron and all that, it leads me to believe that they're going to draft a quarterback. That if you just made me like spidey senses right now and had to read the room by the moves that are being made, right? I just feel like, hey, wait, there was progress made with Justin Fields. If we were on, hey, we like where we are and we're going this way, they would have kept things the same. But obviously there was enough there where they didn't like it, and the fact that they're changing OCs and we haven't heard a definitive statement on keeping Justin Fields yet, I don't know, continues to lead me down the path that they're going to make a change there at the quarterback position.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this before. I think they should make it work with Justin Fields.
I do too.
I think it adds extra pressure to whoever that quarterback is because he's going to be compared apples to Fields wherever he lands, and he'll land somewhere as the starter. I mean, they have a draft asset or a trade asset, in either Fields or that first overall pick. They're going to get more for the first overall pick. And you just have a greater sense of uncertainty. The first overall pick is going to come in and get it done. Look at 2023. Look at Bryce Young. There's no guarantee that you're going to plug and play a great quarterback. Even if you think the quarterback is going to be great, the bottom line is that we don't know, and we won't know until he plays in the NFL. And with Fields, we still don't know where his ceiling is. I feel like we're still in the process 3 years in of figuring out how great he can be, and there's a chance he could still be pretty damn great. And again, your new quarterback is going to be compared to Fields wherever he goes, whatever he does. And if he doesn't measure up to Fields, you're going to, Bears fans are going to say you should have kept Fields. Even if they were on board, even if they were all in with drafting a quarterback, they're going to say, man, you guys should have kept Justin Fields. You should know better than we do. You should have ignored us, and you should have kept Fields.
Well, there seems to be a thought around the league, right? And just like, again, this is not right from, word of mouth from anybody in Chicago, but as you know, I talk and text to a lot of people that kind of seem to feel that, like, the last game against the Packers, the way Fields played right there up in Green Bay, and it was probably the worst performance their offense and he had over the last 5 to 6 weeks of the season, that was a little bit of like, oh, that's what he is. Some people I trust around the league who kind of always have their ear to the ground and knows kind of what's going on. That was kind of the thought that I've heard multiple times from different people, right? Hey, it was all good, but that last game kind of reconfirmed maybe what he is there. I don't know if that's fair necessarily, but that's the thought around football and maybe why they decide to go a different direction here instead of Justin Fields.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of a market there is if they trade him, if they decide to move on, how many teams they can bring to the party as they basically say, what are you going to give us? Now, Fields is going to be part of that too. Even if you don't have a no-trade clause in your contract, and he doesn't, he's still under his rookie deal. if he makes it clear, boy, I'm glad you're interested in me, but I don't want to play for your team, all of a sudden that team isn't going to give up significant assets to get Justin Fields, because one of your first orders of business, are you picking up the fifth-year option, or you're signing him to a long-term contract? What are you doing with Justin Fields? How are you handling this? But there will be teams. The teams I rattled off earlier.
Exactly right. For Jalen Hurts.
Interested in
exactly
Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Are the same teams
exactly.
that should be interested. Falcons, Patriots, Steelers, Raiders, Vikings if they lose Kirk Cousins. So
yeah, I think you said
yes.
Atlanta would make a lot of sense for the way their teams built. Bijan Robinson, that offensive line, right? There's some similarities really to kind of what he had in Chicago there, and they're in a spot where, because they were competitive, they're kind of in no man's land as far as getting one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the draft. If it is to go that way, and the Bears decide to move on and go to a Caleb Williams or a Drake May or whoever it may be, right? Atlanta would be a team that I certainly would look at and go, ooh, they're going to be in this Justin Fields sweepstakes for sure.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.